All right, y'all. Peep this.
And the whole quote-unquote loyalty thing I think it's overrated. I think this is a business at the end of the day, and it's a lot of money involved and a lot of decisions that has to be made. You know what I mean? So, like if a player isn't producing, or if you don't see him in the future, or front office, some of them have to do like a job and want to keep their job. So they gotta feel like they gotta do what's best for to keep their job, and they trade players. Or if a guy isn't happy and he wants to be traded to somewhere else, then it's a problem. It's just so many different dynamics that go into it. This is a business at the end of the day. So like, not even just the NBA, but like people that have normal jobs have those same problems. It's just not magnified. You know what I mean? So for me, it's always about like I don't lose focus of trying to compete for a championship, and then financially, making sure that my family is taken care of. You know what I mean? Because I'm very smart, and I've sacrificed a lot. Financially, like, which I don't get credit. I don't get talked about, but I'm fulfilled and I'm happy with it. But like winning a championship, or at least having a chance to, and then financially getting paid for me being available and playing at the highest level for so long. So to answer your question, this is a business at the end of the day. So I feel like players should ultimately do what's best for them, and front office does what's best for them and their owner and their organization. So it's two sides of a story.
To speak on the whole, is the loyalty in the NBA overrated thing, the short answer is yes, it's overrated. The long answer, though, it's a little more complicated than that. So to speak on James Harden specifically in this first instance, James Harden is a guy who got traded from the Oklahoma City Thunder in the 2012-2013 season. This is coming right after the Thunder lost to the Miami Heat in 5 games in the NBA Finals. And in NBA Finals where James Harden didn't play that particularly well. So they had to decide between paying him and Serge Ibaka in order to avoid the luxury tax or whatever. I don't understand the salary cap in any sport, let alone the NBA. But he then goes to Houston, where he thrives. He turns into an NBA caliber player. An MVP caliber player. He won an MVP in 2018. He becomes a multiple All-NBA player. He becomes a multi-time All-Star. He goes to the conference finals in 2018, where he almost bests the greatest team ever assembled in the Kevin Durant, Curry, Klay Thompson, Golden State Warriors, where he falls short in 7. And then he requests a trade in the 2021 season. He gets traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Then Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, all goes well up until James Harden goes down with a hamstring injury in the second round of the 2021 playoffs against the Bucks. And then a few games later, Kyrie Irving goes down, hurts his ankle. So the following season, after they lose in 7 to the Bucks after all those injuries, Harden requests another trade because Kyrie is basically a part-time basketball player because he refuses to get the vaccine shot for COVID. Kevin Durant, he's dealing with multiple injuries as well. So he's like, hey, yo, I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with this nonsense. I'm not dealing with the fact that Kevin Durant can't stay healthy. I'm not dealing with Kyrie's debacle with the vaccine thing. So he then gets traded to the 76ers. They lose in the second round of the NBA playoffs to the Miami Heat. The following year, they get a full season. He and Joel Embiid get a full season together. They lose again in the second round because Joel Embiid, obviously he is infamous for being an injury-prone player. James Harden is also infamous for being known not to show up when it matters in the playoffs. In elimination games, James Harden, he's just not that guy. So then we come to find out in the offseason, I believe, of the 2023 season that Daryl Morey and James Harden had a verbal agreement to where James Harden got a contract, or he was going to get a contract. James Harden then posted that infamous video saying that Daryl Morey is a liar. So then, to get out of that organization, because he's never going to play for another Daryl Morey-led organization again, he requests a trade to the Clippers. And the Clippers, they lose to the Dallas Mavericks in the first round. Shout out Luka Doncic. And in the following year, they lose to the Denver Nuggets in the first round again. So there's back-to-back losses in the first round, none of which are James Harden's fault. Kawhi Leonard, obviously another guy who is infamous for being injury prone. And so James Harden just kind of got the raw end of the deal. He's going to these places, these organizations where the upside is there. It's just the downside is it's like a high risk, high reward type of thing with the organizations and the players that James Harden has played with over the course of his career. Kawhi Leonard, he's dealing with his injuries. Paul George, he didn't have that many injuries, I believe, in the 23-24 season when he played with James Harden, but we know who Paul George is at this point. He's one of those guys who isn't really there when you need him most in the playoffs. He's a roller coaster. But I believe that James Harden is correct in his assessment in the loyalty in the NBA is overrated to a certain extent. Biggest example is in the 2019 season, or that's backtracking further than that. In the 2017 Western Conference Finals, Kawhi Leonard goes down with an ankle injury because of Zaza. Zaza was who he's one of the dirtiest players in NBA history. Kawhi Leonard then proceeds to miss the entirety, pretty much, of the 2017-18 season. And that culminates in him not wanting to really play. I think he played like 6 or 8 games, something like that. And you then have Spurs legends and Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili telling the media like, hey, I've dealt with injuries. You know what I'm saying? I'm still showing up to work. Why is Kawhi Leonard not wanting to play? What's going on? So then Kawhi Leonard takes offense to that. It's like, I bet everybody running their mouth. I'm just trying to take care of my body. So he requests a trade. He wants to go to Los Angeles. San Antonio like, nah, we're going to look out for number 1. So they then trade Kawhi Leonard to Toronto for DeMar DeRozan, one of the most loyal guys in the NBA, and as well as one of the most loyal players to Toronto. Toronto has a history of, trading away their best player with Vince Carter. Vince Carter was not loyal. He didn't want to stay in Toronto. They had a falling out. DeMar DeRozan was like, hey, yo, that's not going to be me. I love it here in Toronto. I love the 6. But, dealing with his infamy and his playoff woes, Toronto was like, hey, yo, this ain't going to work. We got to trade you or Kyle Lowry. So San Antonio was like, hey, bet, give us DeMar DeRozan. And so I also remember in that 2019 offseason, I remember there was an article or story saying that the owner at the time, I don't know if he still is the owner now, but Masai Ujiri, however you pronounce his name, I don't know how. Apologies if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but Masai Ujiri was like, hey, we're not trading DeMar. And then a few months later, they trade DeMar for Kawhi Leonard, and then the Toronto Raptors go on to defeat the Golden State Warriors in the 2019 NBA Finals and winning the championship. And then right after that, Kawhi Leonard's like, hey, yo, it was fun, it was cool, but I'm going to go over here, back home. I'm going to go to Los Angeles. So yeah, I don't think that the NBA players don't need to be loyal to any one organization. At the end of the day, it's exactly what James Harden said. It is a business. And what do businesses do? They look out for the organization first. It goes money, then it's all a profit. It's all for a profit at the end of the day. Winning leads to profit. Some organizations don't know how to do that. Some organizations just cool being mediocre. As long as they're getting money, it's whatever. We see that a lot in the NBA especially. I can name multiple organizations who are just very incompetent, but they're cool with just making profit. But yes, I do think that loyalty in the NBA is truly overrated. They will let you walk. I think the dirtiest thing that we've ever seen in NBA history in terms of my eyes, two of the dirtiest things that ever happened. One is way more egregious than the other. Back in 2017, Isaiah Thomas, probably the dirtiest thing that the Boston Celtics organization has ever done was trade this dude for Kyrie Irving after the season that he just had. 5'9", put up 30 points a game, and he hurts his hip, loses his sister tragically in a car accident right before the first round of the NBA playoffs. And he gives his all. He pours his heart and soul into these playoff games for the Celtics. He is the epitome of what a Boston Celtic is supposed to be. But they traded for Kyrie Irving, somebody who flip-flops like a mug. We've seen him do this historically. And just last year, damn near to the date, Luka Doncic gets drafted by, or he doesn't get drafted by the Mavericks, but they trade for the rights to Luka on behalf of the Atlanta Hawks. But he gets traded. Now, granted, it was from the incompetency of Nico Harrison, but regardless, he was going to be a Maverick lifer. He was going to replace Dirk. He was going to be the modern day Dirk, this generation's Dirk. And y'all trade him away after he and Kyrie lead the Mavericks to the NBA Finals. What are we doing? What are we doing? So I say all that to say this. Loyalty in the NBA and really across all sports is overrated. There really is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know you can talk about Reggie Miller, Dirk Nowitzki, who I just talked about. You can also talk about Kobe Bryant, but Kobe requested a trade twice in his tenure with the Lakers. He was going to go sign with the Clippers in 2004 after Shaq left. He requested a trade, one of the most infamous trade requests in NBA history, in the offseason of 2007 before they traded for Pau Gasol. So even Kobe, to a certain extent, was not loyal to the Los Angeles Lakers. But again, NBA, no loyalty needs to be had from any of these guys. Get your money and get out of there, because they will do the same damn thing to you. They will toss you away. They will give you away for nothing, for the most part, you know. But let me know what y'all think. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know.